Sorry, I couldn't make it into the meeting. Make it to the meeting. Um, wow, I'm so nervous when I'm recording. Anyway, so I'm taking a day off, so I still have a couple things I want to go through with you guys. Figured I'd make a recording. So yeah, first question I was gonna bring up is that so now that Heather's not with us, we need a product owner for ongoing machine learning parts. So just bring it to everybody's attention. We should probably talk about it. So yeah, there's that, and then also me and Phileas, we long time ago, almost 3 months ago, we worked on this piece of data requirements for machine learning. It's very important. It's basically the fundamental raw data we need to build the database they need to do any sort of machine learning things. One is that when user visits a subforum, we want to log this event with all these info in there, including this snapshot of which page they're looking at, so on and so forth. I won't go into the detail in here, but this is the second one's probably more important. When user views a thread, it essentially logs the time, logs the information on that thread when they viewed it, which user, and so on and so forth. Snapshot of the title, of the thread content, the reply count, so on and so forth. So these two are sort of the fundamental logs that the ML needs to start any sort of work. Phil is actually under the assumption that these two events are ready for the survey when it's actually not. He was devastated when he found out it's not in there. So just want to bring it up. We should probably start to prioritize these two. So there's that. Let's check these. And then next thing, just a quick FYI, homepage in the afternoon, in our sprint planning meeting, the first new ritual, which I will be not in there. Mike will help me introduce this. As far there's basically the homepage. The tickets are ready, requirements are ready, everything's properly documented. I've moved them on top of the backlog, right below the DevOps tickets. So these are ready for the picking. Whichever team picks it in the afternoon, I will start a dedicated kickstart meeting with them to walk them through the whole thing. So that's going to happen this afternoon as you see this meeting, as you see in this recording. So there's that. And then I want to talk about the spam fighting tickets that I wrote. I wrote 2 tickets. Basically, I've been talking to a lot of people from Brandon to Rob to a bunch of devs to aggregate what we should do with the reCAPTCHA 2 measures. So we're going to do 2 things. One is that we're going to add a conversation related checks. So basically, this is a simple check that we already have. So this is a very old, this link I just opened is a very old ticket from like probably a year ago. We already introduced the mechanic where basically we're going to check users' first post. So if they have a URL or any sort of spam-like appropriate contents, we're going to pop a warning and tell them that this cannot be posted. So this is already in the place. I'm just going to be basically calling the same logic with a slight different wording for this in the conversation. So when the user try to post a new conversation when they have 0 post, if they have a URL in the conversation message, they will not be able to post. Instead, they will see the similar pop-up message. And the second logic on this is that if the user already have 1 or more posts, when they submit a conversation, if there's a link in it, they will still be required to go through reCAPTCHA check. So maybe we can, I guess, parse the message when the user clicks on the submit button and decide if we want to directly submit or reroute them to a reCAPTCHA check before we continue. So there's that. This one's relatively simple. And then this one is relatively complicated. I'm going to do a high-level walkthrough this here. Feel free to stop me and ask any. Actually, no, that's not possible. Habit. Feel free to ask questions. I won't be able to hear you, but yeah. You can message me afterwards if there's any confusion. So basically, this one is for anti-spam checks for new and dormant accounts. It's very simple. On the high level, I know there's a lot of writing here. Don't worry about reading this. I'll explain how it works basically. Not this one. Let me create a new one. Sorry. Bear with me. Let me see if this is probably not the best way to explain it. But basically, check state. We're going to see 3 things. to decide if user is in a check state. How long has it been since they registered? And then how long has their account, how long since their last account activity, and how many posts / messages they have made since they recently entered the check state. So these three numbers are going to be customizable on a global level for console. So we will be able to change that live in production. The idea is that let's say this is 1 hour, and then this is 7 days. Again, we can change the number. And then let's say this is 3 messages. So what's going to happen is that if a new user is just registered, then within the first hour, actually no, this is not the right description to it. I guess how long has it been since they entered the check state, which also means that newly registered user are in check state. So basically, newly registered users in check state, people who are dormant for more than 7 days are in the check state. But once they're in the check state, what's going to happen is that anytime they make a new post or send us a new message, they will go through reCAPTCHA check, invisible reCAPTCHA check. So most of the case, users should not be aware it's happening. But in rare cases where users' IP address is weird, or if they're using a weird VPN, the server has a lot of traffic with Cloudflare, I guess. Or actually, no, not Cloudflare, reCAPTCHA check at Google. They gonna probably trigger this. But for most cases, the user shouldn't be able to see it. But if the user is in check state and it has been less than an hour in the check state, any post and any message they send, they'll have to go through the invisible CAPTCHA. So that's one check, time check. Another check is the count check, the message check. So after they pass the first hour, they will still be in check state until they've reached a number of posts plus messages set in here, which by default we're gonna do it 3. We can change the number if you guys feel like a different number. And then let's say you registered a new account, or you just came back from a dormant account and it's been less than 1 hour. Then within that 1 hour, any post you make will be going through the reCAPTCHA check. But after that 1 hour, the system, whenever you make a new post or message, the system will check, have you made enough, like more than 3, again, customizable number of posts or messages so far. If you have, then you don't have to go through reCAPTCHA. If you haven't, that means that, let's say you register a new account and you haven't posted anything in the first hour, and then you come back after that first hour, you try to make posts, the first 3 posts you make will have to go through reCAPTCHA. So that's the idea. And on top of that, as soon as your account is inactive for 7 days, again, customizable time, you'll go back to the check state, which will, again, when you log in, it's going to be the first hour and the first 3 messages combined to go through the go through the reCAPTCHA check. So that's how it works. The detailed implementations is here. You guys probably, if you're curious, you can take some time to read through this. It has all the detail in there. If not, if you have any questions, if it's very confusing, feel free to slap me. Once I come back on Wednesday, we can find a time to chat in person if you want. So yeah, that is the stuff I have on my list. Thank you so much. Probably less interesting when I'm going through video, but yeah, that's all the stuff on my list. I'll let you guys continue the meeting. If you like the video, share, like, and subscribe. All right, bye.